In today's video, every death in Skyrim's legendary survival, I spend 1 hour outside eating only what I find outside. My target in Skyrim will be to get to the Greybeards, and my survival themed eating challenge is that I need to catch a fish, or else. Sadly, in this video, I failed at almost everything, and I had quite a few time constraints because I had to get to work. Again, before you get started, cringe warning for the real world footage. I just killed my first dragon and now needed to go and talk to the Greybeards. I immediately told Sven to get lost and took Lydia. She was tanky as hell. On my way, I picked some potatoes, killed a wolf, and then was shaken down by some fools dressed as Imperials. Things went very wrong. I accidentally killed Lydia and had to run around, trying to avoid the ringleader. Sadly, my jumping around didn't work and I scored myself my first death, adding 1 hour to my survival eating challenge. Who knows what I'd have to eat. The random event changed though, luckily, and I saved a wanderer from some bandits. I saw a standing stone on the map and I decided to investigate. I had a lengthy fight with a necromancer and all her minions. It wasn't too difficult at least. The standing stone sounded pretty cool and I've never used it before. I was curious to see how it worked in action. Nothing too interesting happened on the way. I killed a saber cat and then ran past this guy calling me a milk drinker. I then ran directly into a troll. We were in trouble. So I ran to the verbal bully and attacked him, leading him straight to the troll. The troll kept regenerating health, even with Lydia, the bully, and me attacking it. I'm sure you could find a way to level up fast on a troll, since it's basically invincible at the early stage of the game. Anyway, it killed the red god bully. I thought I could quickly nab that armor for Lydia. Big mistake. This cost me another hour outside, eating who knows what. My time was now at 2 hours. I brought this oversized baboon to Iverstead because you know what they say, it takes a village to take down an overpowered, health regenerating, invincible troll. Even with the whole community, it didn't do a thing. I ran in to try and level up my one-handed skill, but I accidentally hit a villager while trying to hit the troll. Big mistake. I was killed not even 2 seconds later, pushing my survival eating time by the river to 3 hours. The troll was impossible. I ran up the mountain, encountering the usual trouble, wolves and all that. We pushed on, but I was getting cold and busy dying. I tried using flames to warm myself up, but my health regeneration ability wouldn't help me out. Alas, I died again. If it wasn't the cold that got me, it was the ice troll that jumped in with a hull of an entrance. I put on warmer clothes and used the tried and true method of jumping up the mountain. The moon was beautiful though, and I was so close. The cold acted as a sort of timer, ticking down to my demise. Finally, I'd completed my challenge. I'd made it to the Greybeards. Now, I needed to survive 4 hours outside, eating only what I could find or catch. Let's get into it. For the actual survival eating challenge, here's a disclaimer. I've done this kind of thing for years, and I'm still here. But don't do what I do. Like one of my friends says, the monkeys watch me to see what's edible or not. We headed down to the river at around 6 am, we being my sister and I, since she was helping me film. Also, I apologize if the footage isn't great, I'm using my phone until I can afford a proper camera. We went directly to the last base I'd made in a previous video. It really hadn't aged well, and its water resistance was practically non-existent, probably at about 1%. I'm pretty sure the monkeys had destroyed it. I'll quickly show you my equipment. First, I had a green fishing rod for my sister because she would get bored. I used my dad's fishing rod, which is barely holding together with just duct tape and love. This fishing rod has actually been passed down from my grandfather to my dad. Next, I had a kukri for that unlucky fish I wanted to catch. My dad had made this kukri himself out of scrap metal and giraffe bone. He used to work on a game farm and had harvested bones from a dead giraffe skeleton. I was looking for bass, so I'd also be using this lure. Finally, I brought some salt because I didn't want to suffer too much and wanted the food to be at least slightly edible. Also, a pan for cooking everything and a flint for starting a fire. First things first, I wanted to go out on the river, explore and catch a fish. When I flipped over the boat, it was crawling with bugs. That's when I found my first snack, a wolf spider. I also decided to collect some mulberries. You want juicy black ones, not the pink ones, as well as mulberry leaves, which are also edible. After gathering my supplies, I took the boat to the river and found another wolf spider, a nice fat one. She was probably pregnant, so I let her go. My sister, on the other hand, was being a real coward, constantly complaining about the leftover bugs in the boat. Using a stick, she tried to get the rest of them out, but honestly, I didn't see anything. I think she was overreacting. Finally, we put the boat in the water and set off. The river was beautiful that time of the morning, filled with birds' nests and the sounds of chirping. I even spotted some of my children playing in the trees. This was the spot where we would fish, also full of bird activity. I managed to hook something after about 20 minutes. After a long fight, I pulled it closer, only to discover it was a catfish. Unfortunately, just as I was about to bring it onto land, it snapped my line and got away. I sat for a moment, reflecting on what I had just lost. We decided to head back and start looking for more food. The trip back was peaceful. We even spotted some animal remains and attempted to bring a bone back with us. Once we returned, I took the boat out again and caught some crickets. However, my streak of bad luck continued. I failed at making the fire. My sister ended up doing it for me. Today just wasn't my day, but I made do. I cooked the crickets with some salt until they were nice and crunchy. I also added the spider to the pan and cooked them all together. Then I boiled some water and added the mulberries. Once they softened, I mushed them up with a stick and they turned into a kind of jam. After cleaning the pan, I cooked the mulberry leaves with some salt and added another batch of leaves my sister claimed were edible. She thought they were blackjacks, though she didn't sound very confident about this. I killed the fire and had to quickly eat everything. With work starting in less than 30 minutes, I was pressed for time. My meal consisted of mulberry jam, crunchy crickets, spiders, mulberry leaves, and what I hoped were blackjack leaves. A quick apology here, my makeshift mask made from an old t-shirt didn't look great. In hindsight, I could have shown the bottom half of my face, but honestly, I hadn't planned this out well, and by this point, I'd already ruined most of the challenge by failing to catch a fish. So let's get into eating the random stuff I found. Another quick reminder, I've been doing this for years. My father's a survival guide and game ranger, but please don't eat anything you see me eat in the video unless you absolutely know what you're doing. First up was the mulberry jam. Surprisingly, it was good. If I had added sugar, it would have tasted almost exactly like the jam I'd put on toast. Next were the crickets. They were super crunchy and the salt made all the difference. To prepare them, I gutted the crickets by twisting and turning their heads, which makes everything come out pretty easily. I'd also tried to find some grubs, but unfortunately I failed. That would have been an interesting addition and a great high-protein snack. I moved on to the leaves. These were not great, slimy, bitter, and somehow still had dirt on them. I hated the crunch of the dirt on my teeth as I chewed. The bitterness wasn't a good sign either. While I knew the mulberry leaves were safe to eat, I wasn't entirely sure if the other leaves were even from a blackjack. Lastly, there was the spider. It low-key tasted like peanut butter, which made it much better than I expected. Definitely not bad, all things considered. I know this video wasn't the greatest. I was rushed for time and I failed at almost everything I tried. I even considered not posting it at all. However, I have a few other videos coming up. Some are bigger projects, while others are more game orientated and won't have survival elements. Thanks for sticking around, have a good one, and I'll see you next time.